Hello, and welcome to Monster Clash, the place where creatures come to die. Today we see a veteran fighter, a professional mercenary that sells her prowess in combat in exchange for gold. Never thinking of anyone other than herself, she takes one job after the other, leaving dead monsters behind along her trail. The veteran is a humanoid of medium size, armor class of 17, wearing splint mail, 58 hit points, speed of 30 feet, passive perception of 12, and no dark vision. It makes 2 attacks per turn, wielding only a longsword, for 1d8 plus 3 or 1d10 plus 3 if wielded with 2 hands. If it has a short sword in her second hand, she can make a third attack for 1d6 damage plus 3, all of them with a plus 7 to hit and a strength modifier of 3. And she has been hired to clear out a cave where magical beast known as an owlbear has taken residence recently. A creature that looks like a cross between an owl and a bear, covered in both fur and feathers, with an avian owl head with large eyes and talons for claws, massive as the ones of a bear, standing 8 feet high and weighing between 5 and 700 kilos, and are notoriously aggressive towards anything that moves, but little more intelligent than most animals. The owlbear is a large monstrosity of armor class 13, 59 hit points, and speed of 40 feet. They have a passive perception of 13, with dark vision up to 60 feet away from it. It has advantage on perception checks that rely on sight or smell, which increases its passive perception to an 18 in most cases. It makes 1 bite and 1 claw attack per turn, with plus 7 to hit, a 1d10 plus 5 damage for the beak, and 2d8 plus 5 damage for the claws, 5 being the strength modifier. The veteran knows this creature is extremely aggressive, but the torch she carries in her offhand gives out bright light, and because of its armor it has disadvantage on stealth checks. She gets a 5 total. The owlbear senses something approaching and instinctively ruffles its feathers, giving out a loud screech to signal that this cave is its territory, and they are now in danger. The veteran rolls a 3 for initiative. The owlbear also rolls a 3 for initiative. The veteran has a 13 for dexterity, the owlbear only a 12. Realizing it has made itself known to the predatory monster, the veteran will take the dodge action to avoid getting hit on the first round, and will drop the torch on the ground, unsheathing her short sword. The owlbear will start leaving its area towards whatever dared enter its domain, and it sees a human holding 2 weapons, but this monster fears nothing. It can move up to 40 feet only, which is not enough. The veteran has positioned herself well away from the creature, and it has to dash to get to her without thinking much. Now, for the veteran's turn, she will hit twice with her longsword and once with her short sword. Two longsword attacks hit. Causing a total of 17 damage as the longswords cut at the face of the creature, driving it back to protect its eyes. But only for a moment, as the owlbear approaches again, this time to maul and kill. But the claws just scrape at the veteran's splint armor, and yet its pointy beak pierces even that, causing 12 points of piercing damage, as the point of the beak protrudes through armor and muscle, and the veteran will try to thrust its sword into the hide of the owlbear. But only 1 longsword attack and 1 shortsword attack hit, causing 13 points of damage, thrusting both blades into the torso of the creature, but stopping short of hitting internal organs, given the size and musculature of the magical beast, which will retaliate, clawing and trying to puncture the heavy metal armor. Only the beak hits, for 10 points of piercing damage, the beak causing a mess at the armor of the veteran, and opening nasty wounds beneath it. with the torchlight making shadows dance in this combat. Both creatures at half hit points, the veteran will try to jam her swords inside the monstrosity. But only the longsword manages to puncture the owlbear's muscled body. For another 17 points of slashing damage, this time the owlbear giving out a screech of pain as the longsword penetrates its abdomen. And with merely 12 hit points, the creature enters a frenzied state and will slash and bite wildly. But all attacks will miss as the veteran closes in the feathered body of the monster and tries to thrust her swords into it. Causing a total of 11 points of slashing and piercing damage, both sword jamming all the way to the hilt inside the creature. And just as the veteran thinks the creature will slink and surrender, it continues fighting back with ferocious attacks, getting a critical hit with its claws and doing 24 points of slashing damage, the creature grabbing at the veteran's shoulder and piercing it with its talons, each one them going through the other side as the veteran cries in pain, going down to 12 hit points. One more round of combat and she could die. But she finishes the creature, pulling her longsword off and jamming it into its neck, causing 11 points of damage as the blade cuts through the throat of the creature. The veteran is bathed in blood, severely wounded, and will have to return with the head of the creature to prove her deed, collect her gold, and move on along her way to find other monsters with a bounty on their heads.